This dress is beautiful and it's just $500. Babe, I'm going to get this dress. Me too.
They had everything, but it cost them their future. Two young ladies thought they were living the best life, a life many girls prayed for, a life people admired from a distance. But what no one saw was that they were slowly destroying themselves. This is not a story of hate. This is not a story of judgment. This is a story of choices and consequences. Amaka and her best friend Ekenma were once very different girls. They were not lazy. They were not foolish. They were not born bad. After completing their university education in Ghana, they returned to Nigeria, believing life was about to smile at them. They imagined good jobs, respect, independence. So, like many young graduates, they packed their bags and moved to Lagos, the city of promises. But Lagos does not explain itself. It only shows you options. In Lagos, they saw things that shook them. Girls their age driving expensive cars, designer clothes, soft life, weekends in Lekki, vacations on Instagram. And then they looked at their own lives. Long hours at work, small salaries, transport stress, bills waiting every month. Slowly, comparison crept in. And comparison is dangerous. They began to ask questions they shouldn't have asked. How are these girls doing it? Why are we suffering? Is this how life will always be? Started innocently. One outing, one invite, one let's just see. Lounges, clubs, private hangouts. Men with money noticed them. Compliments came easily. Cash came faster. At first they felt powerful, chosen, desired. Then it became normal. Sleeping around no longer felt wrong. It felt like survival. Then came the Alhajis, married men, older men, powerful men. From that moment, everything changed. Money flowed. Shopping became routine. Bills disappeared. They gave the men names. Sugar Plum, Odogwu, Zaddy. They laughed. They bragged. After the sugar daddy life began to pay off, something changed inside Amaka and Ekenma. Money was no longer exciting. Luxury was no longer enough. They now felt powerful. But they wanted more. They wanted status. They wanted influence. They wanted to be above other girls. They wanted to walk into a room and be noticed without trying. They wanted men to fear losing them. They wanted other girls to admire them, envy them, and even beg them to teach them the way. So they went looking for power, and that was how they found the Baba. The Baba welcomed them calmly. He smiled and said, "You are welcome, my daughters. You are at the right place." Those words settled their hearts. They told him what they wanted: money that would never dry, power that would never fade, a name that would command respect. The Baba stood up slowly and brought out a small calabash. He placed it before them and said, "Take this. This will give you a new name. It will give you a new status. Men will adore you. Girls will wish to be like you and will come to you to learn your ways." He paused, then continued, "With this, you will become known. Your wealth will increase. Your power will grow. And what you enjoy today will not dry." Their hearts raced. This was exactly what they came for. Then the Baba's voice became firm. "There is only one rule," he said. "This calabash must never touch the ground. You must never carry it in anger." He looked at them closely. "The day it touches the ground, or the day you handle it with anger, destruction will fall upon you." They nodded quickly. They didn't ask questions. They didn't hesitate. They believed power had no consequences. For months, nothing went wrong. The calabash was hidden carefully, wrapped, protected, untouched by the floor, and their lives kept rising. Money flowed faster than ever. Men competed for their attention. Other girls whispered their names with envy. They felt invincible. Until one night, it was past midnight. The air in the apartment felt thick and restless. Amaka had just finished arguing on the phone with one of the men. He had refused to send money. Refused. For the first time in months, a man told her no. Her pride burned. Her voice trembled with anger. Ekenma tried to calm her down, but she was already pacing the room. Back and forth, back and forth. "You think he can embarrass me?" she snapped. "You think he can walk away?" Her chest rose heavily. Without thinking, she stormed toward the wardrobe, the place where they kept the calabash hidden. Ekenma froze. "Amaka, don't," she whispered. But anger does not listen. Amaka pulled it out roughly. The small calabash, still wrapped. Her hands were shaking. "You said I must never be ignored," she muttered. In her rage, she forgot the rule. She forgot the warning. She forgot everything except her wounded pride. As she turned quickly, her elbow hit the edge of the wardrobe. It slipped. Time slowed. The calabash fell from her hands, spinning once in the air, twice. Then, it touched the ground. The sound was not loud. It was soft, but it echoed. A dull, hollow knock against the tile floor. Silence swallowed the room. Both girls stared at it. Neither moved. The air felt heavier, colder. Ekenma's voice shook. "You dropped it?" Amaka swallowed hard. "It's just the floor," she whispered. "It's nothing." But something had changed. The room no longer felt the same. The walls felt closer. The silence felt alive. The lights flickered once, then went still. Ekenma slowly bent down to pick it up, but her hands trembled so badly she couldn't hold it properly. For the first time since they received it, they felt fear. Real fear. Not fear of losing money. Not fear of men. But fear of something they could not explain. That night, they could not sleep. The apartment felt unfamiliar. Every small sound felt amplified. Every shadow looked suspicious. And deep down, they both knew. Morning came, but it did not feel like morning. There was no peace in the room, no normal sunlight warmth. The air felt thick, heavy. Amaka opened her eyes first. She had barely slept. Her body felt tired, but not like normal tiredness. It felt like something had drained her quietly during the night. She sat up slowly. The apartment was silent. Too silent. Even the usual street noise outside felt distant. Then she noticed something. Her phone. No notifications. No missed calls. No messages. That had never happened before. Usually by morning, there were at least 3 good morning texts, at least 2 alerts, at least 1 man checking in. Nothing. Her heart skipped. "It's still early," she told herself. Ekenma woke up shortly after. She looked pale. Her eyes were swollen, not from crying, but from a kind of restless sleep. "Did you hear that?" she whispered. "Hear what?" Amaka replied. "I don't know. I thought someone was walking around." By 9 a.m., anxiety started creeping in. Amaka tried calling one of the men. It rang once, then cut. She tried again. His phone was switched off. She frowned. "That's strange." She dialed another. No answer. Another declined. Now her chest tightened. Ekenma rushed into the room. "My transfer didn't come." "What transfer?" "The one he promised me last night. He sent a screenshot." They checked her bank app. Nothing. The screenshot? Gone from the chat. The message? Deleted. They stared at each other. Slowly, confusion turning into fear. By afternoon, things got worse. One of the married men sent a strange message. "Please don't contact me again." Another blocked them completely. Just yesterday, they were adored. Now, it was as if they had never existed. Later that evening, the lights flickered again. But this time, they did not come back immediately. For a few seconds, the room was dark. In that darkness, they both heard it. A soft rolling sound. like something shifting slightly inside the wardrobe. They froze. Neither of them moved. When the lights came back on, the wardrobe door was slightly open. They were sure they had closed it. That was the moment fear became real. Not fear of losing money, not fear of men walking away, but fear of what they had awakened. Amaka's voice trembled. "We should go back to him." Ekenma swallowed. "And say what?" Silence. Because deep down, they both remembered the words clearly. The day it touches the ground, everything you gained will turn against you. By the third day, they could no longer pretend. The calls had stopped completely. The money had dried up. The men who once begged for their attention now avoided them like strangers. Amaka's headaches became worse. Ekenma barely slept anymore. Every night felt longer than the last. That afternoon, without arguing, without pride, they made a decision. They would go back. Back to the Baba, back to the place where it all began. The journey felt longer this time. The road that once felt exciting now felt heavy. Silent. They did not talk much in the car. Each of them was thinking the same thing. Maybe it can still be fixed. When they arrived, the compound looked the same. Quiet. Still. But this time, their confidence was gone. They stepped inside slowly. The Baba was seated exactly where they had first met him, as if he had been expecting them. He did not smile. He did not look surprised. He simply looked at them. Amaka spoke first. Her voice was no longer proud. "Baba, we made a mistake." Ekenma fell to her knees. It touched the ground. The words hung in the air. The Baba closed his eyes briefly. Then he opened them again. "You handled it in anger," he said calmly. It wasn't a question. It was a statement. They nodded. Tears rolled down Amaka's face. "Please, Baba, help us." "We will do anything. Just fix it." The Baba was quiet for a long time. Then he spoke. Slowly, carefully. "When I gave you that calabash, I gave you power with conditions. You agreed. You were warned." His voice was not angry. It was firm. "There is no solution." The words landed like stones. Amaka shook her head violently. "No, there must be something. We can pay, we can—" He raised his hand gently. "When a rule is broken, the consequence must follow. What you enjoyed beyond your capacity must now leave you. What you controlled will now control you." Silence filled the room. Ekenma's breathing became uneven. "So, what happens now?" she whispered. The Baba looked at them steadily. "You will face what you have invited. There is no reversal. There is no cleansing. There is no escape. You must endure it." The finality in his voice broke something inside them. They realized this was not a negotiation. This was judgment. Amaka's shoulders dropped. Ekenma covered her face and wept quietly. The Baba leaned back. "You wanted power without discipline," he said. "Now you will learn the cost." They left without another word. No shouting, no begging. Just the heavy understanding that some doors, once opened, can never be closed again. And as they walked back to the car, the sky above them looked darker than it had that morning. Not because the sun had changed, but because they had.
They stepped out of Baba's compound with legs that did not feel like their own. The air was hot, but both of them were shivering. Neither spoke as they entered the car. Halfway through the journey back to Lagos, Amaka pressed her fingers against her temple. "My head," she whispered. "It feels like it's splitting." Ekenma tried to answer, but her words came out slow and confused. By the time they reached the city, something was clearly wrong. Amaka's headache became unbearable. She began to scream, clutching her hair, crying that something was moving inside her head. She could not focus. She could not stay still. Her eyes looked wild with fear. Ekenma thought it was stress. Until that night. Around midnight, Amaka started laughing. Not normal laughter, broken laughter. Then she began to cry in the same breath. She kept repeating, "The calabash! The calabash is broken! We should not have touched it!" Ekenma held her, trembling. But by morning, Ekenma's own body began to fail her. Her chest tightened, her breathing became shallow, her heartbeat raced painfully fast. They were rushed to the hospital. Doctors called it psychological trauma for Amaka. They called it acute cardiac failure for Ekenma. But no medical explanation could fully explain the speed of it. Amaka's mind never returned to normal. She would sit in corners, whispering apologies to a calabash no one else could see. She tore at her own hair. She cried until her voice broke. She begged for forgiveness from a Baba who had already spoken his final word. And Ekenma? 3 days later, her heart gave up. Just like that. Young, beautiful, gone. When Amaka heard the news, there was a moment, just one clear moment, where her mind seemed to return. She screamed, not in madness, but in understanding. "We destroyed our lives with our own hands," she cried. Then the clarity left her again. Ekenma was buried. Amaka was taken from hospital to hospital, her family searching for help that never truly came. 2 lives destroyed, not by poverty, not by enemies, not by fate, but by discontent and greed. Legos could have favored them, but impatience did not allow them.